everyone, it's Pamela Ferguson, and welcome to this segment of Naked News, where we strip away all of the pretenses of skincare and life in general and discuss it. So I'm coming to you live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm excited to connect with you today. So, again, this series is called Naked News, and it's not that kind of naked, not that kind of naked. So, today I've been hearing a lot of things, actually much more than today, a lot of things about the big buzz is natural, and I get asked all the time, is that all natural? We're talking about food, is it organic? Is it clothing? Is it natural? Skincare, especially, I get it all the time. So, I said, you know what I need to do? I need to do a broadcast about natural versus conventional products. So as you remember last week, I had some technical difficulties, so hopefully it's working well this time. But natural versus just regular conventional products. And so many people talk about this and want to know about this. It's a hot button right now. It's a super hot button. So when you hear the word natural, what comes to mind? What do you think of when you think natural? What does that mean to you? Only you have a special understanding in your mind what that means. Or when you hear the word chemical, what does that mean to you? Does that mean, oh my gosh, that's toxic, it's going to be cancer, it's the most horrible thing in the world, I'm going to stay away from it? What does that mean to you? Now, this means different things to different people, so you have to decide that on your own. Now, which one is right? Well, you know, it might be a little bit of both. It could be. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I've been searching the web for information about this, which is really easy because there's tons of information on it. You just start typing in natural, all the things that come up. Because this is such a hot topic, I really found this of great interest. So, the first thing I want to talk about, and this is some of the things that I learned, but I did want to add that all of the articles that I am referencing in this video, I will post in the comments after the weekly session, and you'll be able to see them in their entirety and read them all because I'm not covering everything that I read in the articles. But one thing I learned is about fruits and vegetables. And did you know that with fruits and vegetables, there are naturally occurring toxins in fruit and vegetables? Let me say that again because it kind of blew me away. Naturally occurring toxins in fruits and vegetables. So let's just talk about a few things. Well, first of all, let me mention, obviously we've been eating fruits and vegetables forever, as well as we have been using them in our skincare for a long time as well. So that means a natural product that contains toxins that we've been using in our skincare that is natural, but also has toxins. So let's talk about peaches. Did you know that peach pits contain cyanide? Just take a moment and think on that for a minute. Cyanide? I was like, what? That can't be right. Thanks for coming on, by the way. That can't be right. And guess what fruit has methanol in it? Oranges. Oranges have methanol. So these are natural occurring toxins in fruit in nature. So before you immediately say toxin equals bad, you have to really understand all that it encompasses. Because I think that it is a little misleading when people throw around the term toxin, bad, cancer, horrible, you know, all these things, and it's kind of scary, to tell you the truth too. I have made notes, so I make sure I wouldn't forget anything. So the key is the reason why so many things are clinically tested is it's all about following the directions. Nowadays, it seems kind of ridiculous that on your directions, they like have, oh, don't do that, don't do this. And you're like, well, what kind of fool would do that? This person's an idiot, right? And that may be the case. However, there is a reason that you are supposed to follow the directions. And that includes everything. That definitely includes skincare. So when we're talking about some of the things in it, if you are using an eye cream, are you going to eat it? Well, I hope that you would not. I hope that you would realize you would not eat it and you would use it as directed. You'd use it as directed. So that kind of applies to everything. You have to use it as directed, and there's a reason that there is testing and there's guidelines and regulations, even though they put these dumb warnings on some things. There is a reason. And keep in mind that too much of a good thing is not good for us either. You can eat 4,000 bananas in one day. I don't think that's probably going to have potassium overload. It's not going to be good, right? But the most important thing that you think about for your skincare is, you saying, is it all natural? Should not be the first question you're asking. It shouldn't be. How about, is it safe and effective? So it's both of those things. You want it to be safe and you want it to be effective. So natural isn't always safe. It's not always safe. So let me give you some examples of where natural is not better. I'm going to throw something out there. Bacterial contamination. It's natural. It's not a chemical. But who wants to put that on their face? Comment below. Yes, I want that on my face. That's amazing. It's natural. It's going to be so great for me. No, clearly nobody wants that. Another example. Poison ivy. It is natural. It's organic. All those wonderful things. But there's no way I'm putting it on my body. So you should be aware. Natural doesn't equal better. It doesn't. And another thing, bananas are natural. They're wonderful. However, are they going to get rid of your sun damage? No, they're not. They're wonderful. They're great. I have some in my kitchen. But they are not getting rid of my sun damage. How about my acne? It's not going to work there either. So another thing to remember about our skin is that when we talk about when we're putting stuff on our skin, one of the big worries about, the natural people is, well, I'm putting it on my skin, so it's getting into my bloodstream, and I'm going to get cancer, and it's going to be bad for me, and that's going to be in my body. Let me just give you an example. When you have an ear infection, and you are prescribed penicillin, your antibiotic, whatever, do they ask you to rub it on your skin? No, they don't. Why? Why don't they ask you to rub it on your skin? Is it the most effective way to get into your bloodstream? How much would actually get through, if any? Of course not. You're going to take it orally. Though I have to admit, it would be kind of nice if some things you could put on your skin so you didn't have to take those darn horse pills that some people have. But that's not the case. Unfortunately, we still have to take the horse pills, no matter how much we wish we didn't have to take those. So if I rub it on my skin, it's going to get into my bloodstream. Yeah, probably not so much, but it would be easier. But remember that one of our skin's main functions, right, why we have it, is to keep all the stuff that's going on in the environment out of our body. So one of its purposes is specifically to act as a barrier to things outside. So doesn't it make sense that when you're putting things on your skin, it's really not penetrating into the bloodstream? Maybe slightly, but not enough to make any sorts, going back to the safety use and the regulations and those kinds of things, it's not going to really make much of a difference at all. Because you're not ingesting it. You're not putting your moisture, you're not eating your moisturizer. You're not using like 40 pounds of it every day. So more and more and more and more are likely to get in. That's just not the scenario. Unless you're not following the directions, and that's your issue, not the product's issue. The other thing is that I want to talk about why some of these companies put these chemicals in the products. Why do they need them? Why can't they just leave those out? They're horrible. I can't even pronounce these names. Why do they put preservatives and all sorts of things in the products? Why is it necessary? Well, the purpose of it is for stability, and it's actually for your benefit. So, do you want bacteria to grow in your cleanser? Do you want it to completely be watery and break all apart or turn to beads and harden up? It's for the stability of the product. And some things are affected by moisture, some things are affected by light, all these kinds of things. It's really for stability. And being realistic is that when you purchase something, you're not going to be using it in 4 days. You're just not. Especially if you have something that it's going to, even if you use it every day, it's going to last you probably a month or two. So you need something to stabilize that. How are you going to do that without these chemicals? You can't. You can't. Now, keep in mind, though, you don't want just a bunch of fillers and nonsense in there. Fillers is the key. You don't want just extra junk. You want stuff that is in there that has a purpose, in there to treat something, acne, sun damage, wrinkles, whatever it is. The stabilizers, like parabens, that was like a huge thing maybe a year ago. I think it was a year ago where people were like, oh my gosh, this product has parabens in it. Now again, if someone has excessive amounts of parabens, that's not good. However, parabens are a stabilizer. They're needed so when you open up your jar, there's not mold growing in it. So there's a reason it's there. They're just not being like, oh, we're just trying to do the cheapest thing and get these chemicals. We don't care about people. That's not true. They actually care about you a lot, and that's why they do that, because they want your longevity of your products. Everything has an expiration date. But in general, they want that. They want you to be able to be effective, safe, and effective. They don't want bacteria growing on it, and they actually want it to work for you. So those two things together. The other thing to remember about natural products is that term, natural, isn't regulated. It's not regulated. So who can use the term natural? Anyone who wants to. Do you get that? Anyone who wants to. If they've got one natural product in there, if they've got poison ivy in there, if they've got 1 ounce, well, that's a lot even for some products, 1% of a banana in there, it can be natural. It can be all natural. It is not regulated at all in the skincare business. Actually, it's even in the food. Natural is not regulated either. Have you ever seen Doritos that say all natural? There you go. So it makes sense. So beware of the all natural. Why do people put all natural on it? Dude, it's the buzzword. They know they're going to sell more. If people are like, okay, I'm looking at this one that's like chock full of chemicals that I can't pronounce, or this one that says on the bag it's all natural. Well, I'll go with the all natural because I know I should, because it's better for me. Right? If we're talking about food or skincare or clothing or whatever it may be. But the key is it's not regulated. So people can do anything. They can put anything in there. They can put a very small amount on and call it natural. Does that mean it's better? I would say no. I would say it doesn't mean it's better. And the other thing, we talk about it being better. If everything that's natural is better, then why isn't everything natural? If it's so much better, then wouldn't everything be natural? I will concede that there is a cost. Natural is probably going to cost a little bit more. And there may be companies that are like, forget that. I'm going to try to produce the least expensive product at all, not worrying about quality, just so I can make the most money. If a company has that mindset, how long is that company going to be in business? How successful is that product going to be? I would say not for both of those questions. So keep in mind, there are tons of reputable products out there and companies, and honestly, natural or conventional in skincare, both, that they are looking to give you what you want, what is best for your skin. And that includes the conventional way that has chemicals in it. Remember, chemical does not always equal toxin, does not always equal bad. So I will concede that yes, it might cost a little bit more. However, without some of these chemicals, there is no stabilization. You can't keep the bacteria away. You can't keep it a solid and just not melted and runny and falling apart. You can't do any of those things. So you have to think about that. What is even more important to consider than saying, hey, are these all natural? is, what about the product's integrity? What about the brand itself? Are these ingredients proven to be safe and effective? Are they using tried and true ingredients that are known to cure, I shouldn't even say cure, to treat things like acne or sun damage or wrinkles or sensitivity? Are they using these kinds of ingredients that may not or may be natural? Do you want to treat acne when you're looking at ingredients that don't treat acne, that are not proven for that, and don't have a track record? Is the company and products you're looking for, are they FDA approved or looked at by the FDA? Are they clinically tested? These are the questions that you need to consider, not, is it all natural? There's so many more important things than that. It's not even on the top 5 of the questions you should be asking when you're talking about your skincare. The first thing is you have to ask, is you have to say, what am I looking for? What goals do I want with it? Those are the kinds of things. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about generally is you need to do your research. Just because someone says, this is all natural, this doesn't have chemicals in it, this is not going to give you cancer, doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't. Let me give you an example that probably happened, I don't know, I think it was in the last month or so. It was in California. And I heard that with coffee, and it wasn't a specific brand, just in general, that they say, well, coffee causes cancer. Okay. I don't know how many cups of coffee are drank every day. It's probably some ridiculous number, like around the world. California says we need to have that notice on there because it causes cancer. Now, again, at the very beginning of this video, I talked about following directions. Is someone going to drink 40 gallons of coffee a day? Well, gosh, I really hope not, because you have so many other issues, I don't even know where to begin. Follow the directions. Don't eat your cleanser. You know what I mean? Follow the directions as it's supposed to be. If you do those, you're not going to have issues. If you're not going to drink 40 gallons of coffee a day, is it going to cause cancer? No. The same sorts of things you see all the time, even with food. The high amount of testing that nobody actually does in human is skewing these kinds of studies. So be careful and don't let it freak you out over every little thing you hear, because I'm sure over the past 10, 15, 20, whatever years, you've heard, well, that causes cancer. Well, that's bad for you. Oh, you can't have that. It's the same thing with food. It was like, we have to do low-fat stuff. Well, now we have to do no carbs, and now we have to do this, and now we have to do that. We're learning all the time. But don't let yourself get freaked out over that, of any of this. And hopefully today you got some stuff answered. If you have questions, respond below, and I would love to answer those. And again, I will attach the 3 links that I use for this information. There's tons more out there. Do your research, ask questions for yourself. Don't say, I have to be all natural or all natural sucks. It's not necessarily true either way. Do your research, find out, determine what your goals are, what you need to do. And if you are interested in seeing more of my things about skincare and just in general, you can check my webpage out at realpamelaferguson.com. And I hope to talk to you soon, and have a great day. Thanks. I'm trying to end. I don't know if it's working. If not, I guess I can stay on here and just chat with you.